My TV is fixed! You saved me from thinking, SpongeBob!
Save your gratitude, my jolly pink friend. It's all in a day's work for a sponge such as I.
Welcome to MojoPlays, and today, we're diving into Bikini Bottom and joining our friendly neighborhood fry cook to learn the meaning of fun and play the 10 best SpongeBob video games. For this list, we'll be looking at the best adventures under the sea starring everyone's favorite sponge in SquarePants. What was your favorite SpongeBob video game outing? Meet us in Jellyfish Fields and let us know down in the comments. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. SpongeBob's Atlantis SquarePants.
Oh, at last, some culture! See you, losers!
SpongeBob has had his fair share of video game adaptations of his movies as well as original stories in Bikini Bottom, but Atlantis SquarePants is one of the only video games based on a TV special. Granted, that TV special had the likes of David Bowie guest starring in it, but it's still unusual. While Atlantis SquarePants was your standard 3D platforming fare, it offered some much needed variation in gameplay modes as well as some interesting abilities for each of its characters, including the opportunity to play as Squidward, Mr. Krabs, and even Plankton. Atlantis SquarePants was released on all available gaming systems at the time, but oddly enough, it was the Game Boy Advance version that fared the best with critics.
Dispose of this, quickly!
SpongeBob's Boating Bash.
Floor it?
Floor it. No, SpongeBob, don't floor it. Don't floor it.
SpongeBob will do absolutely anything to earn his boating license. But for once, his lack of skill behind the wheel turned out to work in his favor. After failing Mrs. Puff's test once again, SpongeBob turns to DRIVE in an effort to earn his boating license another way, and he's willing to go through any and all of Bikini Bottom's many denizens to earn it. With the variety of modes to compete in, SpongeBob will need to cause as much destruction as possible while driving as recklessly as he can at the highest velocity imaginable and escape out the other side with his license. This all of course turns out to be a scam in the end, and thankfully SpongeBob remains without a license, but at least the fun and numerous traffic violations we committed along the way were all very real.
Oh, Mrs. Puff, how can I ever thank you?
No need to thank me, SpongeBob. Oh, what have I done?
SpongeBob SquarePants, creature from the Krusty Krab.
The creatures of the sea are deep in slumber, their night brains exploring the mysterious world of dreams.
Who knew SpongeBob pulled an Inception before Christopher Nolan? In Creature from the Krusty Krab, SpongeBob, Patrick, and Plankton must navigate their most extreme nightmares through some of the most varied and interesting level designs outside of an actual SpongeBob episode. Featuring everything from standard platforming and puzzle solving to vehicle sections, races, and even a level where a giant plankton gets his revenge on Bikini Bottom by leveling the town, there was no shortage of increasingly outlandish activities for fans of the series to take part in. Creature from the Krusty Krab was even the first SpongeBob game to feature unique endings for each character, depending on who you chose to play as in the final levels of the game. SpongeBob SquarePants, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman.
Who summons me from my endless slumber? I'll have your eyes for appetizers and your insides for dessert, for I am the Flying Dutchman.
Sorry about that.
As is the case with many of SpongeBob's adventures, what starts out as a normal day in Bikini Bottom ends up as anything but. After accidentally unleashing the Flying Dutchman, the wayward ghost kidnaps Gary as punishment for disturbing him, and SpongeBob must explore the many corners of Bikini Bottom for a way to weaken the Dutchman and rescue Gary. Revenge of the Flying Dutchman was the Sponge's first foray into 3D gaming, and like many firsts in 3D space, it wasn't without its hiccups. But thanks to varied levels that let fans of the show freely explore beloved locations and SpongeBob's endless optimism, Revenge of the Flying Dutchman helped lay the groundwork for better future entries in SpongeBob's ongoing video game adventures.
So be ready for a tough fight.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
You don't stand a chance, Squarepants!
SpongeBob SquigglePants.
Hey! Ain't it a beaut? Why don't you take a closer look while I go over here?
Longtime fans know the optimistic Sponge has something of a storied history with drawings.
I am SpongeBob, destroyer of evil!
Take it easy, it's just a drawing.
But that didn't stop him from once again putting his artistic skills to the test. Using the often forgotten You Draw game tablet, SpongeBob would flex his creative muscles in numerous minigames that would often see the residents of Bikini Bottom reimagined in various differing art styles. Clearly taking inspiration from the WarioWare series, players would have mere seconds to interact with each puzzle or game, but could also use the game's free draw function if they just wanted to doodle around with SpongeBob and his pals. Patchy the Pirate could even put the player's art in his own SpongeBob fan art collection.
Really gets the old creative juices flowing, don't it? Oh, but wait till you take a look at this beauty. I calls that abstract-tastic.
SpongeBob's Truth or Square.
That's right, Gary. Mr. Krabs is letting me have the partay at my pineapple. He's letting me pay for everything, too. Isn't he great?
Unlike other adaptations of episodes from the long-running show, Truth or Square has very little, if anything, to do with the episode's namesake. Instead, SpongeBob has forgotten the Krabby Patty secret formula and needs to revisit his happiest memories to recall the all-important formula, which leads to a nostalgic trip for longtime fans as the game recreates some of the series' best episodes such as Graveyard Shift and Tea at the Tree Dome. Truth or Square is also one of the only 3D entries in which you only play as SpongeBob for the entirety of the adventure, which makes sense from a narrative standpoint, but lacks the variety of the Sponge's other games. Truth or Square might not reinvent the formula, but what it does well, and acts as a nostalgic trip down memory lane for longtime fans of the series.
I was 100% sure Oh, Mr. Krabs! I feel dizzy! I can't breathe! I can't feel my legs!
SpongeBob SquarePants, lights, camera, pants.
To the chum bucket!
Thank you for coming to the Krusty Krab. Please come again!
Oh, yes, thanks. Now where was I?
At first glance, Lights, Camera, Pants might appear as nothing more than a Mario Party clone attempting to capitalize on that title's popularity, but that would be doing this party game a disservice. Using the backdrop of SpongeBob's participation in the 30 minigames as auditions for a starring role in the new Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy anniversary special, SpongeBob and the many familiar faces of Bikini Bottom can either team up or go head-to-head to see who comes out on top and earns the top prize. The numerous minigames offer hilarious callbacks for longtime fans, such as playing Hook, Line, and Cheddar on the dangerous fishing hooks, Jellyfish Jamboree, in which you catch jellyfish to extract their jelly, and Rock Bottom, which taps into SpongeBob and the gang's many musical talents. While best played with friends, Lights, Camera, Pants can still be enjoyed by those attempting the game solo.
I got plenty of friends. I can name 3 right off the bat. The gang's all here.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Oh, this has never happened before!
Get a hold of yourself, Eugene. I'm going in.
The first SpongeBob adaptation of one of his biggest adventures, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie took SpongeBob out of Bikini Bottom in a way he never had before, and likewise the game used this broader approach to SpongeBob's expansive world to their advantage. Tying into the narrative of the film, SpongeBob and Patrick can earn manliness points that will teach them new moves and can be upgraded as the game progresses. While the title didn't deviate too much from the plot of the movie, it still managed to incorporate a lot of elements that would end up featuring in future adventures, including driving sections and sledding, as well as special moves and challenges to complete. Strangely, however, the game didn't use any actual footage from the movie, instead using slideshow storyboards to convey the game's overall narrative. But this still didn't affect the fun factor for all the goofy goobers out there.
Look, buddy, I hate to burst your bubble, but you're talking to two men here. We don't have time for these silly games, so if you could just step aside.
SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
Patrick, I proclaim that tomorrow is going to be the best day ever.
Despite numerous other 3D platformer entries for the yellow sponge, none reached the heights of Battle for Bikini Bottom, and the updated visuals of the recent Rehydrated remake make it arguably the best way to experience one of SpongeBob's best video game entries. The game's hilarious script and inventive use of character swapping made levels more replayable than previous outings, and the fresh coat of paint in the Rehydrated edition just brings the vibrant world of Bikini Bottom to life as SpongeBob once again attempts to foil Plankton's nefarious plans. Featuring some of the best level designs and boss battles SpongeBob and company have ever encountered, there's a reason this is the most beloved of all the adventures that started in a pineapple under the sea. Battle for Bikini Bottom is undeniably the undisputed king of SpongeBob's many, many video game entries.
I always knew SpongeBob would be the death of me.
Or at least it was, until SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake.
It's the thrill of one more kill, the last one to fall. We'll never sacrifice their will.
For years, it was hard to imagine Battle for Bikini Bottom to ever be overthrown as the best SpongeBob game ever made. And after spending the last couple of weeks with the Cosmic Shake, and major thanks to THQ Nordic for providing us a code, greatly appreciated, developer Purple Lamp has achieved the impossible. With its original story, clever humor, respects to the source material, and introduction of new mechanics, concepts, and level design, SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake is without a doubt the best SpongeBob game ever made. And with the Cosmic Shake, Purple Lamp has demonstrated a full and clear understanding of what a SpongeBob game is, an adventure that feels like you're living the show not just through its references, but through gags, inspiring and fun storytelling, and a sense of nautical adventure while playing as the amazing Mr. Absorbency. SpongeBob fans, we are in trusted hands. This is honestly the best way I could have kicked off 2023.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips for MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.